What's up, YouTube? Today we're headed to Jiu Jitsu class. I want to show you guys what it's like for me in class and also just give you guys in general an idea of what a Jiu Jitsu class looks like, what takes place there for anybody that might be curious getting into it, or maybe you just want to know how a Jiu Jitsu class ends up going. This is the video for that. We're going to jump into it right now.
All right, guys, so funny enough, we got to Jiu Jitsu class and the power was out, so that's why there's no lights on right now. But hey, we opened up some of the side doors, we got the natural lighting going on. Right here at the start of class, what we usually go over, our instructor Grayson, he goes over a move and teaches something to us that we then link up with our partner and practice. So what we went over was like a standing arm bar or standing arm lock if someone's trying to grip you. So he's teaching right there, like pulling someone away and then getting them into a position where you have their arm and you're able to put them into an arm lock. From here, after we end up learning the move, usually after that we'll go into drilling. But today, since the power was out and whatnot, we went right into rolling. So it actually made for even a greater time. So right here I'm rolling with my guy Ryan. Ryan's an absolute beast, savage, very strong guy. And one of the cool things when you go to jiu-jitsu class, there's a wide variety of people, so you get to go against a lot of different styles. And some people are really strong, some people are really fast, other guys are really flexible. And so you get this wide variety of people you get to train against. And Ryan is definitely a really strong grappler. We had a good roll. There's moments where Ryan was doing really well. There's moments where I had some good times as well. And then I ended up wrestling or grappling against Van. And Van is a wrestler. He's very quick, very solid, and he can definitely get you into some really bad positions. Here I'm trying to get off a bottom. He's doing a really good job of blocking my arm so that I can get it into the right spot. Eventually, was able to toss him over and get on top. But the thing about jiu-jitsu that a lot of people, if you're watching this for the first time, just because you're on top or bottom, it doesn't necessarily mean either guy is winning. The thing about jiu-jitsu is it's meant as something where someone who might not be as big can beat a larger opponent for leverage, if they know how to use leverage properly, the chokes, if they're more cunning, they set things up really well. That's the really cool thing about jiu-jitsu, and that was the thing that Royce Gracie showed us all so many years ago in the UFC 1 was how great jiu-jitsu is at beating bigger opponents. He was like 160 pounds going against 300-pound guys and ends up choking them out. Here we're going against Shane. So Shane, the thing about Shane is so flexible. This guy, he is so flexible. It's so hard. You get past his guard or something into side control and his legs just come back into play. And he is so good at doing that. And like I said, that's the cool thing about training all against these different guys is you really get a wide variety. And Shane had me in some really good triangle chokes in this. There was a couple different times. I know a decent pass out of the triangle, but man, there was a couple points. He was very, very close. You can even see right here. You can see my face and the veins. Oh, there it is. There it is. There's another one. It was really close. He almost had me in this one. Shane's been doing awesome in grappling. And that's one of the cool things is even though you see us all grappling against each other, all of us are friends. It's the really awesome thing about going to jiu-jitsu is you get to meet all these other cool people that are just in there. They're trying to get better. Everyone's trying to improve. And if you're going to a really good gym, there's not really any egos. You kind of have to lose that because you're going to have days you go in there, you're going to get beat, and other days you're going to be the one beating some people. And jiu-jitsu is such an awesome thing because it teaches you things outside of just the grappling. You learn so many other things that'll help you in life, like losing your ego, like learning how to struggle through hard situations and figuring out how to solve a problem, dealing with high pressure, high stress situations. You're getting crushed on the ground, but learning how to deal with that and overcome that and still being able to continue on and hopefully, reverse a person or survive in the role long enough. And that's one of the things that I've come to find and I really love about jiu-jitsu is it's all the other things that you learn as well. It's fun, it's cool that, to learn grappling and self-defense, but it's the other things outside of that that you really get through it that are probably even more valuable than the grappling and the self-defense knowledge itself. Here you got Grayson. He was coming by. He was giving us both tips. He was telling Shane some different things that he could do, and also at this point, man, since we did like a whole entire hour of rolling this night, so you get amazing cardio work as well, and it's fun cardio. That's the cool thing about it, is like you get an insane workout. Like the days after jiu-jitsu, especially when I first started, you'd come at home and your body's super sore, but you felt so amazing afterwards as well. That was always something. You come off the mat, you got an amazing workout, you got to meet some awesome people. And so that was my last roll against Shane. Me and him ended up rolling against each other about like 3 times in a row, so about 15 minutes. This is Josue here that I'm rolling with. This guy's actually a freaking beast, dude. The very first time I ever rolled against him, man, he put a pace on me. Josue really surprised me. Dude is a freaking awesome guy, really strong, and man, his cardio is actually nuts. It's insane how good his cardio is. So here, I'm playing more in guard, and I'm really trying to work on something I love doing. And one of my favorite, it's a sweep that I love doing, is a Kimura sweep. So this is something I was really trying to get. You can see me locking up on the wrist there, on the right wrist. And then you go over the arm, lock up the Kimura grip, and you can end up doing a sweep out of that and end up on top. And it's such a cool sweep because people almost never see it coming, and you get so much leverage on it that it really surprises people, and even surprises you on the bottom how much you can really fling someone over with such a simple grip. So here we're on top as well, and trying to make sure that we keep good position. That's one of the things that you end up learning, especially early on, is if you do something too crazy, you go for some submission when you're not able to control your opponent well enough, then you're going to get flipped over, and they're going to be the ones on top and putting you in a bad spot. So one of the biggest things, especially when you go into jiu-jitsu, a tip for anybody, is position over submission. This is something you always hear, especially in MMA being taught. If you lose the position, you're gonna end up in a bad spot, which, hey, maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're trying to practice your defense, but it's definitely something to realize. If you go too hard for a submission, you're probably gonna get swept. Here's the end of the class. So these are the people that had stuck around throughout the entire class. Sometimes, people can't stay the whole entire time. The class ended up being 2 hours tonight, and we did so much rolling. So these are the ones that were here at the end of the class. We all say goodbye to each other and bow out.
What's up, everybody? We're with my instructor, Grayson. Grayson, real quick, can you tell them kind of about your background and how long you've been doing jiu-jitsu, how long you've been teaching?
Yeah, so I started jiu-jitsu in 2002. After that, I did a little bit of MMA and got my ass kicked by the jiu-jitsu guys all the time, and decided, hey, I better learn this. Full-time jiu-jitsu about 2002, so it's been about 16 years. Come prepared to lose. You will lose at least your first year, constantly lose. And if you're the type of person that can't handle losing, those people don't seem to last in jiu-jitsu. That's probably one of the biggest hurdles for people to get over. The people that last are motivated by losing instead of turned away from losing. And then the other piece of advice I give you if you're new is always train like you're going to be doing this the rest of your life. So many people come in and we want to win. Everybody wants to win. Nobody likes losing. But if you're training to win, every time you step in the door, you're going to break your body over time. I've been doing this 16 years, and I learned the hard way early on. I think a lot of us do. So I think probably the best piece of advice I can give you is, aside from, don't be afraid to step in the door, but once you're in the door, just go easy and have fun. You don't have to prove anything. Probably the biggest reason that people stop doing jiu-jitsu is injuries. And so always train safe, always train light. once you learn a little bit of jiu-jitsu, you'll learn how to be safe. But when you're brand new, you don't really know how to protect yourself. And so, like I said, the biggest reason people end up quitting early on is injuries.
All right. It's awesome. I appreciate Grayson.
Yep, and thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys, we just wrapped up jiu-jitsu class. Awesome night of rolling. And luckily, to start off the night, we didn't know exactly how it was going to go because the power was out. Luckily, it came back like midway through the class, so that was awesome. And I'm sure I'll talk about it in the video, and it's kind of what Grayson touched on. But for me, one of the biggest things I've loved and taken away from jiu-jitsu is just like the community and the amount of people, the people at the class. And I really think that when it comes to our day-to-day lives, especially nowadays, like so many people, we're on our screens all the time. We think that communicating through screens is really some form of like communication and forms of connection with people, and it just doesn't. I think that's something we really need. And so, at least for me, I would say to you guys, audit yourself and see, am I getting enough of that in-person connection with other people? Am I getting enough of that? Because for me, I thought I was, but then when I started going to jiu-jitsu, I realized like how big of a difference that's made in my life. And it's one of the biggest things that I love about it. They're so cool, learning all the different things, but that thing is huge. So, even if it's not jiu-jitsu for you guys or anything, this doesn't interest you, find your own type of group. There's so many groups out there. There's so many different things you can do with other people. I think it's something that a lot of us really need nowadays. A lot of us are isolated. A lot of us feel alone. And so I would just say, hey, if you should check yourself on that. And if that's the case, hey, consider joining something where you guys can get more involved with other people. It's been really great for me. But outside of that, guys, that's the video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you drop a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below on what you thought, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.